Salam At-Talib. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, amma ba'du. Last class we stopped and we did the section of the people who some cannot fast, haram for them to fast, not allowed for them to fast. The people who it is obligatory for them to fast, who it is, I'm sorry, this is regarding breaking the fast, Kitab al-Siyam. When it comes to breaking the fast, who has to break the fast? Okay, meaning if they fasted, it wouldn't count. That was one group. Yahrum, that is haram for them to break the fast. That makes sense. Now let's run through it real quick. The first group, Yahrum ala man la udhra lahu al-fitr bi Ramadan. It's haram, it's not allowed, it's impermissible, it's a sin for a person to break their fast during Ramadan without a valid excuse. Tayyib. What would be the valid excuse though? They're sick.
Sickness that's uncurable. Well, an illness.
Sickness.
And if they're on a journey.
They traveling. Tayyib. It could be other reasons. It's a woman on her menses, right? As long as a person has a valid reason Islamically to break the fast, then they can break the fast. But if a person doesn't have a valid reason, then in that case, breaking the fast is haram for that person to do without a valid reason. The second group, Yajib al-Fitr, it was some people that it's obligatory for them to break the fast, meaning even if they fasted, it wouldn't count for them. Who are those people? That even if they fasted, it still wouldn't count because this person's fast is not valid. Salam At-Talib. Is this sisters over there? None of the sisters know the answer. How many sisters over there? How many sisters over there? He gonna give you the mic, but how many sisters over there? 20. All right. How many were here last week? Huh? No. How many sisters from the 20 were here last week? 10? MashaAllah. Yeah, just plug it up and give it to her. Yes, a woman on her mens. A woman on her mens can't fast. Even if she wanted to, even if she felt like she had the strength to do it. She feel like she's not that weak, she could still do it. Yajibu is obligatory for her. Al-Fitr, to break the fast. The woman on her mens, and who else? Postpartum, yes. The woman who just had a baby, she's still bleeding from postpartum. Sisters, y'all gotta know that. That's for y'all, that's not for us. Unless we got daughters and wives, but that's pertaining specifically to the sisters. A woman on her mens can't fast even if she felt like she had the ability and the strength to fast. And a woman who's still in postpartum bleeding, she has to break the fast. The fast doesn't count. Even if you fasted while you were on your mens, they don't count. You still gotta make the days up. The third group, who it is recommended to break the fast, recommended. They don't have to, but it's recommended. The elderly? Huh? Someone traveling, huh? More specific.
Someone that's traveling and not coming back. Someone traveling more than 45 miles.
That's they traveling. But what kind of traveler? We got different types of travelers.
They're not coming back to their particular city that same day.
We're traveling, not committing, not having an incentive of committing haram.
Yes, the traveler can break the fast as long as when they go to travel, they're not going down south to do no haram. They're not going out of state to do haram. That's not the intent when they leave. Everybody with me? A person may go on vacation in Florida, and we human beings, nobody's free from sin, and they commit a sin while they out moving this in life. Not that person. The person who says, I'm going here to do this haram. The intent of the travel, the intent of the trip is to do something that's from disobedience to Allah. Those people don't have the right to break their fast. They don't have the right to shorten the salat. Okay? So the one who says recommended to break the fast is the traveler who's traveling and it's allowed for them to shorten, meaning they're not traveling to do any disobedience. The intent of the travel is not to disobey Allah Jalla wa Ala. Tayyib. The second person also was, the sick person that fears if they keep fasting that they're going to be harmed by fasting. Everybody with me? They don't have to break the fast. When you're sick, you don't have to break your fast. Everybody clear? Not saying it's obligatory to break your fast if you're sick, but this is under the group of people. If you're sick and you fear that you fasting while you're sick is going to make your sickness worse, then they say it's recommended to break the fast. Right? Clear? Tayyib. This is all from last week. The last group where it's allowed to break the fast is the person who travels fi athna nahar. They travel in the middle of the day. So let's say you woke up today, or you wake up tomorrow and you fasting. Then around Dhuhr, you end up traveling. You go to New York, you go to DC, right? You can break the fast. You're a traveler. Once you become a traveler, you can break the fast. Break the fast meaning there's no sin. Don't mean you don't have to make it up. You still have to make the day up after Ramadan. But there's no sin in that case. Why? Because you have a valid excuse. What's your valid excuse? I'm traveling. And the traveler can break the fast. Traveler doesn't have to break the fast. The traveler can break the fast. So if it's 3 of y'all, 2 of y'all might keep fasting, and one brother or sister might break a fast. Ain't no use to argue about it. They not off it. You ain't following sunnah. We ain't got to go that far. They can continue to fast, so they don't have to. I'm sorry, Sheikh.
So what is the condition of traveling? Like I said, I need to go right from.
No, you was right from a traveler, but what kind of traveler? You saying once a person travels, they're a traveler, right? They go outside of we're not talking about the condition for the traveler. The condition, the intent of the traveler is the issue.
They not committing no haram acts.
That the intent of the trip wasn't to do something haram. As long as the intent of the trip wasn't to do something haram, then they can shorten the prayer. They allowed to break the fast, even though you got to make the fast up, right? All that falls under that category. Fadal.
What was the distance again?
The distance, Sheikh, since he opened up that door now. Approximately, in our terms, approximately 50 is being safe. 55 is even safer. 50 miles. That's one opinion, if you're going by miles. The other opinion is what the people consider traveling to be. So the people, for example, I don't want to get too far into this, but you can. We can go to New York and back today. Yeah, we traveling. Right? We can go to New York and back. We can go to Virginia and back. We can go to DC and back in one day. Once we traveling, we traveling. All the rules apply to the traveler. That's what you was talking about, if you had to stay there. Tayyib. The last group, or part of that next group, who is allowed to break the fast, the pregnant woman, it's allowed for her to break the fast. Does she have to? She doesn't have to. The woman that's breastfeeding, it's allowed for her to break the fast. Both of them, the breastfeeding woman and the pregnant woman. Both of those women, it says, when the pregnant woman and the woman that's breastfeeding, when they fear, khafata ala anfusihima, they can break the fast if they fear that fasting is going to cause them some harm. She feel like if she fasts, it's going to cause harm to her, like physically, right? She's pregnant, her body's different, right? That's one situation. The second situation is for both of those women, the one that's pregnant and the one that's breastfeeding, she might not fear it's going to harm her, but she fears it's going to harm the baby. All right? In that case, she can break the fast. If she breaks the fast, in either situation, she has to make the day up, number one. The day has to be made up. But if she breaks the fast based on her fear for the child, then there's something extra on top of that besides just making up the day. And this is what he says. if they fear for the child only, لَزِمَ وَلِيَّهُ إِطْعَامُ مِسْكِينَ لِكُلِّ يَوْمٍ. If she breaks the fast out of fear for the baby, not out of fear for herself, right? Then the wali of the child, not her, the wali of the child has to feed a poor person for every day she did that. That's the wali's job to pick up that tab, brother. Alhamdulillah. Huh? Allah Akbar. Tayyib. Moving on. These are four more. I'm sorry, four. Tayyib. This is a different scenario. Salam to barakatuh. It says, قال رحمه الله وإن أسلم كافر. In أسلم كافر. If somebody takes shahada in the daytime during Ramadan, right? Number one, are the non-Muslims, is it obligatory for them to fast Ramadan? No. So now it wasn't obligatory to fast Ramadan, but they took shahada during the day of Ramadan. Everybody with me? Two things happen for them. There's two things at the end. At the end, two things apply to these groups of people. One, a non-Muslim, they weren't Muslim, they took shahada during the daytime, right? After Dhuhr, let's use after Dhuhr. After Dhuhr, they came to Masjid, they took shahada. Or after Asr, it was still daytime, they took shahada. It was after Maghrib, it don't count. Maghrib is not the daytime, all right? So let's just say after Dhuhr, they took shahada. Two things. Number one, lazimahul imsak. That they supposed to, even though they were not fasting that day initially, they supposed to refrain from eating for the rest of the day, just as if they were fasting. Why? They Muslim? They didn't start the day fasting, right? They didn't start the day fasting. We're saying now you're going to tell them at, for example, at Dhuhr, for the rest of the day, they need to refrain and fast. Everybody clear so far? What we talking about? All right. That's the first thing. We get to the reason in a minute. The second thing, they got to make the day up. All right. Now they say, number one, as far as not as if they're fasting the rest of the day, in reality, the fast is already broken for them. Right? Realistically, the fast is already broken because they didn't fast the entire day. But they say that they should make imsak, they should refrain as if they were fasting out of respect for Ramadan, out of respect for the month. And all the ulama don't agree with that. So you may see some who say, no, there's no point in them fasting. Their fast didn't count anyway. So why would you say they have to fast for a half a day? So that's something that the ulama differ on. Either way, those are the two things. So the first thing is, what? Continue fasting, refrain from eating and drinking and everything else as if you were fasting, and make up the day. That's the first group. The person who wasn't Muslim and they took shahada, right? All right, the second group. وَطَهُرَةِ الْحَائِض. A woman whose menses was on, that means she wasn't fasting, right? And her mens went off after Dhuhr. Her mens went off after Dhuhr. Did she fast that day? No. But they say she should do the same two things. Of course, she got to make the day up, right? But she should refrain as if she should continue the day as if she's fasting. Refrain from eating and drinking and everything else as if she's fasting. And remember, for all of these groups, again, this is on the opinion of the author. Some of the ulama don't agree that they should refrain from fasting because they already broke their fast. All right. So that's the second group. The next person, وَبَرِيَ الْمَرِيض, the sick person. Can a sick person break the fast? Yeah. Huh? Same thing. The sick, if you're sick, you can break your fast, right? If need be. Tell you, I'm sick, I'm not fasting, right? I wake up after Dhuhr, I feel better. I'm not sick anymore. The stuffiness is gone. All the stuff that was bothering me is gone, right? I'm better now. What should I do? The same two things. I wasn't fasting already, so I know I have to make up the day, right? They say also you should finish that day out as if you were fasting, even though you're not. Why am I fasting for the rest of the day, even though I'm not? Out of respect for they say hurmat shahr, out of respect and honor for the month of Ramadan. Tayyib. The next group, and these are all people that was spoken about previously. It says, بَلَغَ الصَّغِيرُ, a child who they reach puberty during the daytime of Ramadan. They reach puberty during the daytime of Ramadan. All right? How can that possibly happen? Huh? And what? A girl, a woman, a female, her menses comes on, right? She might be a 12-year-old girl. After the dhuhr, her menses comes on, right? Or a male, he may have a wet dream. He wakes up after the dhuhr, he had a wet dream. Even nocturnal emission. It's the proper nocturnal emission. It's cool, but you gotta make sure it's clear. Old school, I know. As long as we understand what a wet dream is, he had a wet dream, that means they reached the age of puberty. Now, before that, before puberty, fasting that day wasn't obligatory. Right? Now the day is obligatory. They reach puberty. So they should do what? Number one, they have to do what? Make up the day and, no, what's the two things we talking about? Refrain the rest of the day as if they were fasting. Yeah. Right. Either way, none of these people are really fasting. Yeah. But in those two conditions, she's not going to fast the next day. She can't fast until her menses. Exactly. She can because she's not really fasting. You understand what I'm saying? The fast doesn't really count for her. She's refraining, but it doesn't count as a fast, so she's not really fasting. طيب. The same for the other person. وَعَقَلَ مَجْنُونَ فِي أَثْنَاءِ النَّهَارِ. The person who lost their sanity and then they regained it after Asr. They came back after Asr. Same two things. They should do what? They got to make the day up and they should continue as if they were fasting. Even though, y'all, that fast really doesn't count. They didn't fast that day. But they only refraining out of respect for the month of Ramadan. طيب. He says, وَلَيْسَ لِمَنْ جَازَ لَهُ الْفِطْرُ بِرَمَضَانَ أَنْ يَصُومَ غَيْرُهُ فِيهِ. Is not allowed to fast with the intention of anything other than the month of Ramadan, during Ramadan. Is that clear? Let me back up. All right. If I'm traveling, right, is it permissible for me to break my fast? The traveler? It's permissible. I can break my fast. طيب. Huh? We traveling. We going to VA. We traveling. It's permissible for me to break my fast, right? When I'm traveling, it's not allowed for me now while I'm traveling. I can break my fast for Ramadan, but I say, you know what? I'm going to fast and practice the sunnah of fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. It's the sunnah to fast on Mondays and Thursdays, right? So it's Ramadan. There is no fast that comes before the fast of the month of Ramadan in Ramadan. Right? This is an obligatory fast. Fasting Mondays and Thursdays is a recommended fast. You can't put a recommended fast in front of an obligatory fast. If you're going to fast anything, you're going to be fasting with the intention to be fasting Ramadan. Everybody clear? You're not going to go on the road, we traveling, I could break my fast for Ramadan. Then you're going to turn around and fast because it's Thursday and say, I'm doing the sunnah. That's the sunnah, which is, alhamdulillah, following sunnah. But something greater than that is doing what's obligatory, which would be fasting your day of Ramadan. All that's going to go back to what? A person's intention. A fast is a fast. It's going to look the same for the most part, but the intention. My intention has to be, I'm fasting, this day is for the month of Ramadan. You go on the road, you say, well, I can break my fast for Ramadan. I'm going to just change my intention. I'm going to make my intention to fast Thursday. Nah, you can't put a sunnah, a recommended act in front of an obligatory act. Tayyib, a wajib. What time we break shake? Okay. Tayyib, we got time. Faslun fil mufattirat. This is the section of the things that break the fast. Anybody got anything after 27? The things that break the fast. 12 things that break the fast. 28? 29, anyone? You got 29, speak now. The things that break the fast. It's 12 things. 12 things that break the fast. Tayyib? Everybody ready? We know break the fast means, right? What does break the fast mean? Yeah, Sheikh. One of the teachers in the language program, when you say answers like that, he's like, it's cool, you fasting, man. Your brain ain't working right. If we say your fast is broken, what does that mean? Huh? You messed up the whole day, and you got to make the day up. We're not talking about break fast, not breakfast, and we're not talking about break fast at iftar. If you do one of these things, you have broken your fast for that day. Meaning, you have to make that day up. Everybody clear? It's 12 things. The first one, a lot of sisters got a problem with this. Huh? Nah, khuruj dam al-hayd, that the menses come on in the middle of the day. She fasted all day, and then after Asr, her mens comes on. Right? They be upset. Allah musta'an. Allah reward them for their intention. Right? That breaks the fast, or demni fast, the blood from the postnatal bleeding also. Either one of those is going to break the fast. That's number one. Those two are held under number one. That blood from postpartum bleeding and the blood from the mens, they go together as one. They both break the fast. So if she was fasting all day, and it happens, right, after Asr, 40 minutes before Maghrib, the mens comes on, that breaks the fast. She has to make the day up. Number two, wal maut, death. Person dies in the middle of the day of Ramadan, that day is broken. Can they make it up? They can't make it up either. Anyway, they can't make it up. But that day is a broken day. Number three, ar-ridda or ridda, apostasy. Somebody leaves Islam. May Allah protect us all. I mean, somebody leaves the religion of Islam. They apostate from the deen. Right? That nullifies that day of fasting, that they were fasting. See how detailed this is? It's detailed. And this is a summarized entry-level book. This is entry-level. Tayyib. Why? Because kufr nullifies all of a person's deeds. Disbelief nullifies a person's actions. Tayyib. You ready? How many was that? 3. The first 2 was 1. The blood of the menses and the blood of the postpartum bleeding is 1. Number 2 is death. Number 3, apostasy. Number 4, wal azmu ala al-fitri. A person has decided in their heart that they're breaking their fast, even though they didn't what? They didn't eat or drink anything, but he said, man, I'm done. I'm pulling over at the next store and getting a steak. Next door, I'm pulling over. The intention, the azm, I'm breaking my fast. The intent to break the fast breaks the fast. Even if he didn't eat, even if he didn't go through with it. He pull up to the store, nah, I ain't gonna do that. He already made his intention to break the fast. The intention. Hold on. It's about intent. Because a person, he said, what if you utter the words, I need to break my fast? It's about the intent. Al-azmu, the intent to do it. Because a person might say, man, I'm not feeling too good. I might have to break my fast. They don't intend to break the fast, though. But I'm not feeling good. You know, sometimes you wake up, you be like, it's going to be a long day. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm not trying. You broke your fast. No, I'm fast. I'm just saying, this might be a rough one for me. My intention is to fast. But once a person changes their intention, they say, I'm breaking my fast. I'm looking for the wawa. If you're looking for the wawa to break the fast is broken based on the niyyah. Tayyib. It says, what taraddudu fihi. If a person is shaky on their intention to fast. They're not really sure. You fasting tomorrow? I don't know. They're not fasting. In order to fast, the intention has to be solid. You fasting tomorrow? Tomorrow the first day? I don't know. I might just wait till Friday. A'udhu billah. Right? If they wake up like that, they never intended to fast at night. They didn't have the clear, solid intention to fast. That day is not going to count for them. That's why it's important to make sure that the niyyah is right every night and before when? Before the adhan of Fajr. Not just Fajr, because Fajr we could be talking about before we pray. No, not before we pray. We don't stop eating before we pray. We stop eating at the adhan of Fajr. And the intention has to be made before the adhan of Fajr to fast for that day. Sit down until I catch it. Tayyib. How many was that? 5, right? Number 6. وَالْقَيْعُ عَمْدًا. To intentionally cause yourself to vomit. To make yourself throw up throughout the day. Right? Shit, that's weird. People be doing different stuff, man, for different reasons. This is number 6 that breaks the fast. I forgot to look this word up. وَالْإِحْتِقَانُ مِنَ الدُّبُرِ. I forgot the word, y'all. Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm gonna just use the example and y'all can tell me the word. When the babies, they constipated and you take them to the emergency room and they give them the what? The enema. Yeah, it's like the enema. There you go. Right? Which is basically some type of medical injection into the rectum. It could be for a medical issue. Right? I'm just using the baby because I'm assuming most people know. The baby might be constipated. The baby can't go to the bathroom. You take them to emergency, they give them, I think it's a suppository maybe? Suppository. They give them a suppository. They give them a suppository, right? Couple minutes, if everything cool, couple minutes, alhamdulillah, they go to the bathroom. Right? For the fasting person, that breaks the fast. Why? Okay, you can't. So now, if you're going to say you injected yourself with medicine, we're not allowed to take medicine while we fasting? Jade. I'm going to keep it simple. Something entered into the body. Part of fasting is nothing that's supposed to enter into the body from any avenue. That's why burning incense is an issue during the daytime. If you intentionally burning incense and you're in the room, what's going on? You're inhaling the smoke. Part of the fast, nothing should be entering. Intentionally. We don't have control over the car that ride by, they ain't get their emissions done, and the black smoke come out, and you in it. We don't have control over that. And he gonna mention the stuff that we don't have control over. Tayyib. He says, وَبَلُوا النُّخَامَ إِذَا وَصَلَتْ إِلَى الْفَمِ. Swallowing, like we say, the mucus. You know how you pull mucus up? It came from another place. This is what they're saying. The saliva in the mouth is from the mouth, and that's not an issue. The issue is when you pull something from another part of the body that wasn't there and then you swallow it. Whether it's mucus or whatever it may be. Everybody with me? They say that break the fast. Why? So what happened now? The bottom line is that what? Something entered. Something that wasn't there. You put something in there that it didn't have to go there. You could have spit it out. This is how detailed and serious it is about intake during the day of Ramadan. Right? Some of the ulama differ with that. All the scholars don't agree with that. But it's enough. It should be enough to know that some hold the opinion that even if you do something like that, which shows the seriousness about not staying away from anything going into your body during the daytime of fast Ramadan. Tayyib. Number 9, that was 8. Number 9, قال التاسع الحجامة خاصة حاجما كان أو محجوم. He says specifically to get a hijama. Does anybody know hijama? Huh? Cupping, to get cupped. You know cupped. You get cupped when you take the dead blood, like the bad blood out of your body during the daytime in Ramadan, that breaks the fast, right? Whether you are the person getting the blood drawn or you're the person doing the cupping. You might be cupping somebody. You not, right? There's no blood coming out of you, but you're cupping. You're doing the cupping. Both of the people, their fast will be broken. The one getting cupped is called cupping, or it's called bloodletting. I think that's the other term, bloodletting. We call it cupping, but it's bloodletting. Whether you're the person doing it or you're the person getting it done, for both of those people, the fast will be broken. Number 10, al-ashiru inzal al-mani bi taqrar al-nadhr la bi nadratin wa la bi tafakkur wal ihtilam wa la bil madhi. Number 10, this breaks the fast. Pay attention, because these number 10 and number 11, they different. They're not exactly the same. In number 10, the first one that breaks the fast is inzal al-mani, that a person keeps looking at. It could be a man or a woman. The man keeps looking at his wife, right? He keeps looking at his wife until he ejaculates. Is it permissible to look at his wife? It's permissible to look at his wife. He's fasting, it's Ramadan. He keeps looking at his wife until he calls him to ejaculate. Pay attention, y'all, because in Islam it's a difference between ejaculation and pre-ejaculation. It's a difference. They don't hold the same rules, okay? In this case, the man keeps staring at his wife and looking at her and looking at her and looking at her until he ejaculates. That's going to break his fast. طيب. He says, la nadratan, not in the case if he looked at his wife one time and he ejaculated. That's not going to break his fast. Why not? Huh? Listen, it's permissible to look at his wife, right? That was uncontrollable. I'm just using the old term we used to use. You get your one look, that's like an old John. That's old school, right? It's your wife. It's permissible to look at your wife. He looked at his wife and he ejaculated once. He didn't like he was looking at her and looking at her and looking at her and looking at her, right? If he looked at her one time and he ejaculates, that's not the issue. The issue is that he's looking at her, or even if it's not whatever it is, right? Even if somebody's looking at something haram, right? That's even worse. We talking about you looking at your wife or the wife looking at her husband, right? Not if it was one look. That's not going to break the fast if one look caused ejaculation. Not if he or she's sitting thinking about something. He's sitting thinking about his wife and he ejaculates. That doesn't break the fast, right? Not if they had a wet dream, nocturnal emission during the daytime. I don't know how it's nocturnal, right? They had a dream. They ejaculate in their dream. That doesn't break the fast. All of that's not from them. It's not necessarily something that you're trying to do, right? Hold on, the last one. And not if we break on the adhan, y'all. Don't break on the joints that's about to start going off. Break with the adhan. We're going to break on the adhan, not with the different apps. Everybody got a different app. Not also with pre-ejaculation. Pre-ejaculation doesn't necessarily break the fast. Clear? طيب. تفضل.
About how you were saying he was looking at his wife and ejaculating, so would that be considered lusting over her?
Yeah, it's his wife. It's permissible lusting. He lusting over his wife. During the daytime in Ramadan, it's going to be a problem. You got to be conscious, because if you do too much of that lusting, it may cause you to ejaculate. And if you do that like that, that breaks the fast. Not like his wife walk in the room, he turn around and look at her. That's not the same. Say it again. That's no problem, because I'm not fasting. You with me? After Maghrib, there's no problem with your wives or your husband. We're not fasting. It is a problem with boyfriends and girlfriends during the daytime and at nighttime, because it's haram either way, y'all. There are no girlfriends in Islam, brothers. You can't have your girl, your piece, your shorty. There is none of that. All of it's haram. Whether it's the daytime of Ramadan or it's the nighttime of Ramadan. Sisters, there is none of that. All of that's a sin, whether in Ramadan or outside of Ramadan. If it's really that deep, then do what? Just marry him. This way we saved. No, ain't no homies. No such thing as homies. Is it time? Is time, Shay? What time you said? Huh? Everybody got 28? No 29s? Tayyib, sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, barak bi Muhammad. Khalas, go look at the sun.